Hello and welcome to the new Power BI dashboard tutorial video. And in this video, I'm showing you one of the very interesting project called Zomato Restaurant Data Analysis. Okay, so what is Zomato? Well, if you are not in India, then probably you are not aware of this name. Zomato is the online food ordering company where they take the order online via the app and deliver it to the customers, right? So this is the basic work which they do. Along with that, they have their website where they show the restaurants information, their menu, to get the traffic about from their customers. So what we are doing is, so we have a use case, and the use case is that on the Zomato you have many restaurants like serving the different types of Indian foods like North Indian, South Indian, or even very local foods like snacks and all of that, plus international foods like continental and pizzas and stuff like that. So you have a lot of varieties, and I will show you in the data. But then if let's say you are planning to open a new restaurant which is specific to a particular cuisine type, then what are the different metrics that you can basically create with the help of this data? Okay, so where is this data, and how this data looks like is something, let me show you. Alright, so dataset link is something which I have given in the description, and once you will go there, you will land in my Google Drive, and in my Google Drive I have this datasets folder. In my datasets folder, over a period of time, as you can see, I have basically gathered a lot of publicly available datasets. But now what I have done is, because I found that a lot of people are not able to find it, so what I did is I created then one sheet which is called dataset sheet over here. So this dataset sheet is something where I am keeping all my relevant data sets as well as workbooks and stuff like that. So you can come over here in the row number 21, you can find the Zomato data analysis CSV file, as you can see, like someone is accessing it right now. Okay, so once you know this is where the data set is, how the data looks like, well, this is where the data set is, and let me just expand it. Ooh, okay, a very big name. So what it has is basically, as you can see, the first two columns are not so relevant because they are just serial numbers, so we can ignore them. The important column is this restaurant name, where the name of the restaurant is present. We have the restaurant type, right? What is the restaurant type? Like quick bites, cafe, casual dining, takeaway, delivery, and stuff like that. Then we have the rating out of 5. Number of rating, how many total ratings that they have got. That means it basically produces a lot of interesting things. Let's say, for example, if you have 7 rating and you are close to, let's say, 4.5, 4.8, that means you cannot really trust it. However, if you have 2000 plus rating but still 2.4, that means you can trust this rating, right? So trust factor comes with the higher number of ratings. Then you have the average cost of 2 people, which is over here, 200 people, 1500 rupees, 2000 rupees, and stuff like that. And then you have the online order, whether this outlet is providing online order or not. So yes or no. You have the table booking option, yes or no. You have the cuisine type like fast food, cafe, biryani, Mughlai, Chinese, barbecue, so like I was saying, different. And this is where we will do some of the data cleaning. Then we have the area and the local address, right? So this is a very simple and small and easy to use data set, and what we will going to finally produce is this very good looking layout, right, which is matching the theme of the red color which Zomato is having as its background. So that is a theme that I have picked up, and I will show you how you can basically create this theme, and also with all the cleaning, visualization creation, filtering, and all of that is you can very easily do. Okay. With that information, what we will do is we will create the new Power BI workbook, which is over here, right? And in this new Power BI, or I can even create it over here, but I want to show you even the data set approach as to import the data and doing the cleaning, and then building everything from the scratch, so that if you are absolutely new, then you can do it very easily, step by step within the Power BI. Okay, so we have the Power BI over here. This is absolutely new. There is nothing Now what I'll do is I need to get the data. Since the data is in CSV, so I will choose the CSV option over here. This will open it up, the location, and the location is in the downloads. In the downloads, I have the Zomato. In the Zomato, it will open up the data for me to review, and we will going to transform the data, right? So over here, if you see, we have this different point. We need to remove these columns, right? Because we don't need it. And then we have to split the cuisine types, right? So this is something we need to do. Also, you can say that you want to split this as well. Well, you can, but I did the research. This location is basically one location. Call it BTM or BTM, I believe, right? So I did some research, so probably we don't need to split this, because this is where you can get the detail, or this is basically a particular area name itself. Looks like 3 names, but they call it in a short form BTM. Okay. All right. So transform data. Transform data is something we will going to now remove the first 2 columns and split the other column. That is a cleaning that we will do. So we need to remove this. So I will right click and remove. We need to remove this, right click, remove, right, and cuisine type. So we have the option over here where we can first select and then split the column. In the split column, by delimiter, what is our delimiter? Comma, right? Everything is separated by comma. So comma is by default selected for each occurrence. So we'll click OK. So this default setting is good for us. So now you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? Okay, so once we have this, so then we will do further, our work. And our work or our use case is that we want to basically open a North Indian and a South Indian restaurant. So our analysis will be focused on that a lot. If you see over here, the KPIs that we have created, North Indian, South Indian, and all of these things. So that way it will be something our use case that we want to open this restaurant for serving the North and South Indian food. And now we want to understand the data which is already available to us. Okay, so over here, it is saying it is loading this information. So once it will be loaded, then we will go and look at that information and start creating the KPI, and based on the information that we need, then we have to choose that. Okay, so first thing first is, if I go back and show you, so, well, what do we need to show is what is our total restaurant, right? So that is 7,105. We have North Indian restaurant because we want to open a new restaurant which is serving North and South Indian food. Then 2443 and 669 is South Indian food. We have 793 restaurant which is serving both. So these are serving only the North Indian, these are serving only the South Indian, but then this is serving both North and South Indian. Then we have 3200 which is other restaurant other than the North and South Indian. Okay. So once we have this, then if you see this type of categorization, then we have in these charts like top 10 restaurant by location. So we have these location. In the BTM location, you have the maximum number of restaurant, and you have a lot of North Indian restaurant over here, and then you have very less South Indian restaurant, probably because Karnataka is in the part of the South India side. So mainly people are cooking a lot of food at the home. That's my thought process, and because of which we have very less restaurant and comparatively more restaurant over here, right? Then we have the restaurant which is serving both, but then if you see, the biggest portion is basically for those restaurant which is other than the North or South Indian, right? So this shows us interesting observations like how our data is distributed for the top 10 locations. Okay. Then we have the average cost of 2 and cost of restaurant name by online order and the restaurant type, right? All of these is based on these categorizations. So thing is, we need to create this field to have this categorization. That is an important part which I want to communicate. Okay, so the way we can do that is basically by coming over here in the table view, right? In the table view, what do we have is basically these different cuisine type, and in this cuisine type we need to basically check if this column is having South Indian, or this column is having South Indian, or this column is having South Indian, or this or this or this, then we will call it yes, it is South Indian. That means we are looking at every column and picking up South Indian. Same way we will have to do it for North Indian. Once we know that okay, this is South Indian and this is North Indian, and then we will create one more column which is specifically whether it is South Indian, whether it is North Indian, or whether it is both. Let me show you how we can do that, because this is very interesting, right? So for that I'll just expand this and I'll going to create a new column, and our new column is basically I don't know what I did, but I'll just create a new column again. I think I clicked it somewhere. Okay, so SI, South Indian Restaurant, RESTAU restaurant, right? Simply if condition, if cuisine, okay, Zomato cuisine type 1 is equals to South Indian pipe sign, right? And then it will continue. Okay, so this condition will continue, because what is this pipe sign? This is OR condition. Now I'll just have to say 2, right? Then over here now just to say 3, or the cuisine type 3, or the cuisine type 4, or the cuisine type 5, or the cuisine type 6. And by the way, if you have a better approach as compared to this one, feel free to put it in comment. I want to learn from your experience as well, as to if you have used a better approach, or do a research and figure it out what is a better approach than this one, as it has to go through the multiple OR condition and find it out. And then we have to say this is South Indian, otherwise other, right? So that is our first, and I will just copy that, Ctrl C and enter, right? So here we have got South Indian, right? Now I'll just verify if this condition is working fine over here in the second column. Where are you? Here you are. I'll just select that, South Indian. So if you see what it is doing, it is taking other. Yeah, and this is a problem, right? Well, why it is taking other? It should take the OR condition, and it does that. So when I was doing this, I encountered the same problem. That is why I wanted to start it from scratch. What problem it has is it has a space before it, right? So when we splitting it, when we are doing a split, always make sure you trim it. Why? What happens with trim? With trim, it removes the blank values from both start and end. So for that, what I do is I need to go into transform data again, and I'll just right click and trim it. So over here, right click and transform and trim. Right click, transform and trim. It is removing the leading and lagging spaces. So if you see, there was a space. Same as a space is present before every place over here. Right click, transform and trim. Right click, transform, trim. Right click, transform and trim, right? I can even do multiple selection. I will select this and I will shift and select this, right click, transform and trim. That way I can select multiple columns and do it quickly. I wanted to show you both the ways. And then we will see that our information is coming properly in the condition. Okay, so there is something. Now I will go down and choose the South Indian over here, and now it should come properly in the last column. Yep, you can see our OR condition is working fine. Okay, so then I'll just click OK. So our first condition is fine. Now I need to create one more column which is for North Indian food, right? And I'll paste this and I will say NI restaurant, and I'll simply has to replace NORTH because that's all. Copy and paste. You can skip this part and move on to the next part where I am finishing this one. It will take a couple of seconds. Alright, over here, alright, 6 and this and this, otherwise other, right? Okay, so now because it is not, it is showing other, but what we will do, we will randomly check, let's say for cuisine type number 4 and North Indian, and it should basically give me all North Indian over here. For this one, some of them are South Indian because this is where third is South Indian over here. So this South Indian column is giving me this. So now I have both these things. What I can do from this over here, now if it is South Indian but this is other, then we can say that okay, it is basically South Indian. If it is North Indian over here and this is other, then we can North Indian. If it is South Indian here and North Indian over here, then we can say both. And finally, if nothing, then other. So what do I mean by that? Let's do this. So North Indian, South Indian, RESTAU restaurant, and we are saying if and SI restaurant is equals to South Indian, and this one is NI restaurant is equals to other, right? Then what it is? It is South Indian. And then one more if condition. If our what do you call opposite of that, I'll just copy this and I'll paste it here. If this is other, that means South Indian restaurant is showing other and North Indian restaurant is showing North Indian, then we are saying what? North Indian, then we are saying what? North Indian. And if, close, and if and SI restaurant, South Indian restaurant is other, comma, and I restaurant is other, right? So in this if condition also I can specify, but let me just put this condition as other. Oh, no. The second condition is both are showing. This one is showing South Indian and this one is showing North Indian, because you want to show the both condition as well, because that is a possibility. Then what we are doing is we are saying both, otherwise other. Okay, and let me just summarize it for you. So first we are saying that in this column we have South Indian and in this column we have other. That means only the South Indian food is being served. Opposite, this column is having North Indian and this is having other, then only the North Indian food. But if this column is having South Indian and this column is having North Indian, that means it is serving both. Otherwise it is other food. And let's just do a quick check. Okay, so our first condition will work fine, second will work fine. We will see the both. If you see South Indian, North Indian, both. And now I'll just have to make sure the other as for other it is all other. So now what we have done is we have created four category from this data, which is helpful for building the analysis, a complete analysis. Okay, so now we have this information. We will start working on the visualization. Alright, so first thing first is the KPIs. So what I'll do is I will choose this card and I will say restaurant count to get the total restaurant count. So I have restaurant name over there. I'll go distinct count 7105 and I will say total, and in capital I will say total restaurants, right? I have this, which I can place it over here. Maybe just reduce this size. This much is fine. Control C, Control V. Control C, Control V. South Indian, North Indian, both, and other. Right. So what do we do is we just reduce, let's call it South Indian, and I'll just show you the configuration. South Indian, and this is North Indian, this is both, and what is this? Other. Right. So now let me just reduce this size. Maybe this much is fine. And I'll go into properties, general properties, and I see width is 215. Now I'll just select this and I'll give it 215 rather than keep guessing and spending hours and hours over there. 215, 215, and this one is what? 215, right? I'll put here this over here, select everyone, and I think in the format and then align, distribute horizontally. Now this is properly distributed. Now once I have done that, now it is properly aligned and all. Yes, I need the filter. So what I need is South Indian restaurant, right? I now need to use that newly created field, NS restaurant, North Indian, South Indian restaurant, and I put this over here and I say South India, right? Over here I bring again this NS restaurant and I bring it and say North India. Over here again I will just pick this field and I will say both, and this is other, so I will pick this field on the filter of this visual and I will say other, right? Now my fields are completed, my KPIs are completed. So I'll just hit, keep hitting the save button. I'm not saving it because I already have one more copy of it, right? Okay, so once we have this, then what do we need? What do we need is the next level of KPIs. If I go over here, the top 10 restaurant location by rating out of 5. So we have to create the visualization over here. So we have what visualization is this one, right? Let's just move it up a little bit. Over here, this much is fine, I believe. So we have the restaurant location, which is nothing but the area, which is on the y-axis. Then we have the restaurant count. So I'll just take restaurant name and I'll say count distinct. Yep, count distinct. And the legend, on the legend, what we will do is we will say NS restaurant. Now We don't need this. If you remember, what we need is this type of a chart, right? Where we say both North Indian, other South Indian, all of these 4 categories are coming. We can do comparison very easily over here. Now what we need is not all the location but the top 10 by rating. So we will go on to the filter, and over here we have the rating is present over here. We will add it. So we have advanced filtering, basic, and top N. Hold on, I need to come here, over here, area. So filters on this visual. Okay, so ratings, top 10 by restaurant count, restaurant name, not the first, count distinct, apply filter. Nope, something is missing. Yes, and the reason it is missing is, I just recollected, because I need to basically do the top 10 areas. So I need to put a filter over there, top 10, and rating is, I now need to put it over here. Not the sum, but the average. Apply. Tell me why I did this. I changed this value over here from sum to average. Why I did it? Okay, answer that. Now, if I put this into some more perspective, I need data labels, I need total. Okay, I don't need this axis and name. So to go to x-axis, I don't need values, I don't need name. And for y-axis, I don't need this title. So I will remove the title. And I want that these names are coming properly, so maybe I'll do is 50. 50 is looks like way too much. 45. Now 50 is fine. Okay, and then we have the title. We will go to general, title, and we will say top 10 area, restaurant area by ratings out of 5, right? And we'll just reduce the size. Yeah, this much is fine. And if you want, we can just expand the size a little bit so that at least some labels are coming properly. Okay, all right, we have this. I'll just bring this down using my down arrow. Okay, now what I need is basically the second chart is about average cost of 2 people by restaurant. Okay, so for that I have created a donut chart. In the donut chart, the value is average cost of 2 people, so which is present over here, and I'll choose the average. Now the legend is nothing but NS restaurant, right? And I can expand this, and I don't need this one. So what I'll do is go into the legend. I don't need the legend. What I can do is I can show the legend here itself, right? So labels is all details, South Indian, North Indian. That way it is easy to read rather than looking at label and matching the colors. We don't want that. That is not user friendly. So now we will just have to change the label title over here. So title, and title is like this: average cost of dining for 2 people, right? User friendly. We will make it 12 like we have done it earlier. Okay, perfect. We have this, we have this. Now we have next chart. Our next chart is basically this chart. What it is doing, it is showing you online order, yes or no. And over here, if you see, it provides basically online order is yes. And over here, your basically color is something what we need to figure it out. So in this case, it is both. If you see, the darker one is north, the next darker one is south, the next darker one is both, and this one is other. That is why sometimes I feel these charts looks good, but it should have details like this one, so that it is showing you don't have to basically match the color, but it is right now what it is. Okay, so over here what we need is this chart, and our x-axis is online order, which is yes or no, and then what we have is the restaurant name, so that we will take over here not the count but the distinct count, and our legend is the NS restaurant. Oh, not this one, NS restaurant, right? And what we will do is we will add the data labels. In the data labels, details, in the details we have no option like this one, right? Okay, so what is present in title? Okay, title is having some option over here. It's just that it is showing you only other and this both, but not the other ones, South or North Indian food. So for now I'll just keep it like this, but in the title we have the series name. What if I reduce it to maybe 6? No, I cannot go below 8, so for now I'll just remove it. At least numbers are coming, right? So we have this chart, and for this chart I need to change the title. Online ordering of food, percentage of restaurant, RESTAU, restaurant type, offering online food or not. Okay, so if I need to customize online restaurant, remove the type, offering online food or not. Okay, now we have this restaurant, and we don't need this one, we don't need this title because it is unnecessary. So for that I go to visual and I go title, remove that. I go to y-axis, I don't need title, and even the values I don't need it, right? And yeah, that should be it. Now if I try to bring in the data labels and I try to include the title, yeah, I think it is bringing it. So if it is bringing it, I don't need legend, right? That way it becomes very easy for me to look at it, or for a user especially, right? Because whatever we are doing is from a user perspective. Now I don't have space, so what I will do, I will just make sure I'm clicking on the blank screen somewhere, going over here and the canvas settings. In the canvas settings from 16:9 I'm choosing the custom. In the custom I'll just give it 1000, right? Now I have space. Okay, so don't worry, never feel afraid that if you are not having the space, then what you will going to do. Okay, so once we have this information, then what I want to do is I want to create the top 10 table. So for that top 10 table, if I show you once, what it has, the top 10 restaurant by rating and the number of ratings. This should be not out of 5 but the number of rating, which we will change. So restaurant name, area, restaurant type. So we will do the same thing. We will create this table, restaurant name, area, restaurant type. Maybe restaurant type we can put it here, which is much easier, right? And rating is over here, not the sum but the average. Tell me why I'm doing that. Think about this as an interview question. Okay, all right. So we have this. Okay, what we need is basically the top 10. So first of all I will sort it. That way the highest rated restaurants are present here. We need the top 10 restaurant names. So on the restaurant name, we will put the top 10 filter. So where is the restaurant name is here, right? Not the basic filtering, but the top 10, and this should be based on the rating, not the sum, but the average, and apply. Okay, so now you see I only get few restaurant. I am getting looks like more than 10 is why? Because there are many restaurants who are sharing the same rating. So let's say this in this use case we want to give this output to the user where we have the top 10 restaurant, but because multiple restaurants are sharing the same rating, that's why we are giving you this detail. Okay, all right. What I'll do is I will just reduce this because this is unnecessarily getting it, and rating, we will call it rating out of 5, right? And we will just properly give the name, restaurant name, and we will just simply call it type, simply call it area, right? And we will not have to even say this, we will have to say this because we will anyway give the title. So over here our title is here, title, and our title is top 10 restaurants by ratings out of 5, correct? Okay, perfect. All right, so now we have this information and I'll just squeeze it a little bit. Yeah, Control C, Control V, and nope, didn't happen. Control C, Control V, now it happened. And this one is top 10 restaurant by number of ratings, and we will keep it 12. So with this one we will keep it 12, right? And this one is restaurant name, I'll remove this, and this is by number of ratings. Number of ratings is here. Add this and apply, and we get these restaurants by number of ratings, right? Now up to us that we want to keep these number of ratings, top 10 restaurant by number of rating, and the rating is the highest, or we can basically from this we can keep the rating out of 5 is different, but keep it here. For example, in this case, over here, if you see, we'll simply call it rating, right? That way it is much better. And we'll just try to reduce the size. Okay, so what it is showing is it has highest rating over here, you know, even though it will not have the highest rating, but still it is showing at the top. Then all of these are not is coming here, but they are not coming here. So this looks much more authentic because these restaurants have lot of ratings and their actual rating is also high, right? So that is why this metric is very useful. This metric is good for reference perspective, right? So over here, what I'll do is I will just say totals. We don't need totals. So totals, remove that. Totals, we don't need it. Yeah, and over here we'll just take this. Yeah, that way I have some space and I don't have the scroll bar. Okay, so now we have this. Finally, we have to bring the title over here. So I'll just bring the title. Title is our Zomato restaurant data analysis, right? Restaurant, opening a new restaurant, and let's give it 28 Zomato restaurant data analysis. And now we will move this to opening a new restaurant, and let's give it a slightly more lower one, and yep, this much is okay, right? And I can bring it on this side. Then we are also showing, what is this? I just need to remove this, so I'll select here, remove, and we have the restaurant. And then what do we have is basically image. So image is here in the downloads, not in the download but pictures, and the pictures I have this, right, which I can reduce it based on my needs. Okay, small setting. All right, we have this, we have this. Perfect. And what do we need is maybe these ones. That's okay. I think this much is fine. Then we have filters. So filter is nothing but basically based on the number of ratings and out of 5 how much rating is there. So if that is our requirement for the filter, so I'll just keep it rating out of 5, right? Let's put it here. Let's reduce it. Rating out of 5, right? Control C, Control V, Z or Z. Okay, and I'll just give some space here. Yeah, this one is not this, but number of ratings. Call it number of ratings. Yeah, we have these two. And now it's about choosing the colors, right? So for colors, we will choose one red color and we will then find a variations of that. First of all, I'll choose the background color. That's why if you see, I am clicking somewhere so that no object is selected. So I can go into canvas settings. In the canvas settings, in the canvas background, I can choose a color. So I can choose any red color first of all, but then I go into the more color and I choose a better red color, maybe this one, right? And then I make it only 95%. So if you see, some effect is coming, or maybe 97. Okay, so that is our first level of impact. Second impact is on each of these places, right? So we will start from here. We will say effects, and over here the color we will choose this, but this will be, let's say, 95%, right? Same with this, or if you want, you can make it maybe 90%, if that makes sense. That way it will be properly coming. General color, this, and 90, this color, this one, 90, right? Maybe it's just that we need to reduce this space a little bit. Same way over here, reduce it a little more so that we can create this space for us, and I keep it over here. So clearly differentiation or demarcation is present. So we have this. For this color also, what we can do is we can choose a very darker color of red if we want. Over here, this red color, but not this much dark. This should be darker on this side. Yeah. Okay. So now it's in alignment, right? Whatever we will do should be in alignment. And then same thing over here, right? In this call out value, color, we basically call it this color, or I call it this. Go into more colors and I choose the darker one, right? So now I have this color which is now present over here. And same thing, what I will do, I will just select this, the category label. In the category label also we will just put it the same color, and then I can choose from the home format painter format and format painter format. One more thing which I need to do is over here, general effects. In the effects I choose this color and I make it 90%, right? Now I choose format painter, format painter, format painter, format over here, format painter, format painter, format, right? Very easy. Let's try to do it here. Let's try to do it here and here and here and here. Okay, we'll show how we can further correct this behavior. Okay, and yeah, this much is fine. Yeah, this much is fine, right? Or up to us, we want to show some more space, we have to then move it towards little bit right, so that these things, small things, but plays a lot of impact, especially for end user, right? And this one, we can also further space. Okay, now once we have done that, these colors, the legend colors, right? So make sure you keep on saving your so that it is easily so this color, right? So for this table, I select this table, style, I say none. For this table, style, I say none. For grid, you want a better grid, you can choose like this, which doesn't look very good. So what I can do in more colors, I can go on to the more of a lighter color. See, yeah, as I am changing it, it is changing. Yeah, this much is fine. I'll just copy this. Same thing over here, I'll choose this, which is much more better, right? These names and all, we can change it as from the format and all of those things. We have the column headers. In the column headers, we can change this, we can make it bold, right? That is good. Over here we can change it, make it bold, right? All right, once we have that, what we can do is we will come over here and now these legends, right? For these legends or for these bars, sorry, the bar is basically different type of color. So we have, first of all, we will choose, let's say, North Indian over here, and we will choose one color which is the darkest, and then we choose South Indian, the lower tone than this one, maybe this, and then we choose both is, let's say, further lower, and then other is the lightest, which is this one, right? So not a very good combination, I agree, and what I can do is I can basically make it much more meaningful. So for North Indian, this is the color, let me choose this color and more color, this one I will make it darkest, this much darkest, yeah, this much darkest is fine. And then South Indian, first of all let me choose the base color, which is this, and then in more color I will choose the one which will be at least slightly different. Yeah, this is different. Then we will choose both. In case of both, I will choose the base color more, and I will go on this side. Yeah, and then I will choose the other, and then I'll choose first of all the base color and more. That way we are near to the base color and not very far. Yeah, okay, now much better. So what I'll do, format, paste, format, paste, makes sense. And if we want, we can make the title color also a darker one by going into general, this one, text color, and darkest, this color, dark red, this color, dark red, and our dashboard is ready, right? We can do a lot, and that is something which I will show you in upcoming video as to how we can further enhance it. So stay tuned for that, because we will going to implement much more and we will take more and more new use cases. Now, based on the number of ratings, I want to make sure that at least the restaurant should have got 1000 rating. So I can choose here 1000 and then see the restaurant types. So number of ratings, which is 1000 to the maximum, which is 16,000, we have 265 restaurants. 8 is South Indian, North Indian is this much, which is serving both is 14, and 126 is other. Now we have clearly top 10 location for these top restaurant, right? MG Road, Brigade Road, Bellandur, Malleshwaram, HSR, and then over here the ratings, right? Which is out of 5. The title is not coming, which we need to make sure the title should come over here, title. Yeah, and title color is the darkest. Over here also title should come, because we need to provide a clear instruction to the user as to what are they looking at, right? So now we have this, and let's see if we can reduce it, and let's see over here. I can simply say ratings and I can reduce it, right? This is how we need to find some creative ways to get this details, you know, in our favor. Yeah, okay, perfect. So this is how we are creating our dashboard. If you see, absolutely similar, or even I feel like this one is much more impactful. So this is something which I will post it, right? And over here we can do a rating that, okay, give me only those ratings which have at least 3 rating, that means average. So again, this is changing. This has not changed a lot. That means pretty much every restaurant is like this. So that is something which you can create within 1 hour. As you can see, we have created this dashboard in 55 minutes. Let me know what you found useful in this. What you did not find it useful is also something you should tell me as a part of the feedback, and I can basically incorporate it in my next one and get you the better output. With that, thank you so much, and I'll meet you in the next video with a new topic.